Hey guys, and welcome to interview. Now we are talking with Kevin Meng. He's an expert when it comes to creating AI content, working with AI content, making AI content sound more human-like. And yeah, that's pretty much why I put him in. We are all right now creating content using AI in English, but also obviously in other foreign languages. And I think it's really, really important to make your AI content sound as good as possible. And yeah, that's why we are just kicking off now with Kevin Meng. Who are you? What's your story? Pretty much, what do you do?
Hey, yeah, I'm a content writer and copywriter. I work mostly in the SEO and online marketing industry. And in the last year or two since ChatGPT has come out, I've been really working on how do you make this sound more human? How do you get it to be more readable and more engaging? Because I think anyone who's creating content with ChatGPT or other AI tools, even if you're not a content expert, you can just look at it and think like, okay, this doesn't really sound that good, right? It sounds generic. It gets the job done. Like it does create like informative content that covers all of the topics, and it can hit all the keywords if you edit it properly. But it doesn't sound very good. It's not very good for branding. It's not good for readers. It's not good for conversions. So I've been, just working on how do we make it better? How do we train ChatGPT to sound better? How do we prompt it to sound better? How do you edit it to sound better? That kind of stuff. So I've always written content myself to be very engaging and high converting and just getting it as good as I can. So in the last year or two, I've really been focusing on how do I take my writing style and get ChatGPT to emulate it as closely as possible.
Okay, interesting. Let's further dive into the why for AI content. I think we all can tell if a content piece is created with AI or if it's more human-like or human written. But like, are there like also some economic reasons to do this, or did you measure like any differences between like pure AI content versus edited AI content or human written content? I'd be very interested to like hear the rationale behind it.
Yeah, well, let's start with human written content. So just before even the new ChatGPT came out, like or ChatGPT 3 or whatever the first one that came out, um, I was writing really good content and just putting a lot of effort into it, and we were seeing a big difference. People were buying more products, spending more time on page, clicking more over to affiliates, just clicking on buttons in general, like signups, getting more downloads of ebooks and things like that. I've worked with a lot of other SEOs in this industry, and we've just seen big results. Like for example, like people spending 1 or 2 full minutes more on each page. Things like getting thousands of more clicks, driving a lot of affiliate commissions, stuff like that. Recently I worked with a client, Ryan Horban. I'm not sure if anyone knows him, but he has a website for GPS tracking, and it went from almost I don't want to say nothing, but it was like very low engagement to thousands of clicks on overall on all of the articles that I've edited. So it's I'm not saying I'm like something special. It's just that if you put in the effort to make your content sound more human and be more helpful, people will take notice, because you have to think like the people behind the search, they have problems that they want to be solved. And if you kind of just give this generic, fluffy AI content, it's not really solving their problems. But if you go into more details and you provide like real helpful information and solutions to their problems and product recommendations and reasons why you're recommending those products. So if it's something like a GPS tracker, say they want to track their kid at school, AI might say like, this one is superior for tracking your child at school because you can look on your app at all times and see where they are. Well, that's very generic, and I think anyone that's searching for this term is already well aware of that. That's why they're searching for the term. So you need to go to the next level. Take it like a level deeper. Okay, what is that parent feeling? Well, maybe they're worried and they need peace of mind. So you need to show them exactly in detail how this thing solves that problem. So it could be you're getting constant notifications. There's movement notifications. You can create a safe zone. So if they leave the school zone, you get a notification. There's an SOS button. So if anything bad happens, they can click the button, and that will contact 911. Things like that, like going into real depth, and that's the stuff that people want to read, and that's how they're going to get hooked and eventually buy a product. So that's the kind of things that I've been doing. You can't really get 100% of the way there with AI, but it's always about like that 80-20, so AI can get you 80% of the way there if you tell it to do the right things, and then hopefully you have at least one living, breathing human being on staff to improve the content and make sure that it's up to par. I think
Sounds
I
really
forgot
good.
to rambling. I was just
Yeah,
rambling there.
I can tell, I can tell. But it's fine. Like we are all here just to hear from you. So very happy
Okay.
for everything you can share about it. I think I want
Okay.
to like try to like fish for like some numbers. Like personally myself, I'm a very numbers driven kind of person. I
Okay.
would be very curious to hear like what kind of like conversion uplifts have you seen by just improving content? Like let's say for like typical best X for Y type of affiliate content maybe. Could you like see like, oh, like your conversion rate double or click through rates doubling, or like even going higher, or like what's kind of the average you're working with here?
Yeah, let me take a look. I have a bunch of the results here. So can I share with you this link, or will you be able to look at it?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if I have exactly where can I share it, or I can just share it on Facebook or in this chat
Yeah,
here.
Facebook is fine.
Okay. Mr. Max. Okay. And if you scroll down, you can see like the headline, you can see a bunch of like logos and stuff.
I see a lot of big numbers.
Yeah, yeah. So you can see like in the top right, we have 3x the conversions. Um, so that's a pretty nice one. If you notice here, the second one on the left, it's 4,000 in commissions from a single article. And if you squint your eyes a little bit, you can see that the top article has 1,200 in commissions, and the bottom one has over 4,000 in commissions, like 4,100. So sometimes it's like 3.5 times the amount of money that you can make. You know? And then this one is we 4 times the clicks overnight just by rewriting the article. And if you go down to the bottom right, this is I used to work with, I still do work with them from time to time, but Adam Enfroy and Colin Ship with Blog Growth Engine, this is one of their students. And so you can see that this student went from making about $650, or no, exactly $650.88 in 30 days to making that same amount of money in just 7 days. So people are buying like a lot, you know, a lot faster. They're buying in a lot bigger numbers. And also you can see the average engagement time has gone way up. So I don't have like exact conversion rate numbers, but you know, you can just see everything is going up. Well, I guess this one, the 3x conversions, that is an exact conversion rate number. But you know, sometimes it's increase in revenue, sometimes it's increase in time on page, sometimes it's increase in clicks. Depends on what we're working with, but it does work. And if you just think, again, just think about it from like that base principle of like somebody has a problem, they want a solution. If you're providing a better solution, which is more in-depth and detailed content, it's clearly like a better thing, right? So yeah, the sales go up. Actually, there's another one in the bottom left, if you can, excuse me. If you can see in the bottom left of that screenshot, there's that graph that kind of looks like a roller coaster. You can see that everything is really low. That's ordered items and clicks and I don't remember exactly what the green one is.
Green is
But
the income. That's like the Amazon affiliate program.
yeah, so it's clicks, ordered items, and income, and you can just see like, wow, you know, it's going way, way, way up. So I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's pretty nice.
All right, really interesting. Yeah, I think it's like very important to put this into perspective for people. But like, I think I can also contribute a little bit here. We used to run websites. Now after the H2, we don't anymore, where we actually
Yeah.
review products firsthand as well. And often how we did it, we just looked at the product reviews, which are just
Yeah.
product reviews. Like we are not, we have not tested the product in detail yet. We are just would put up the review, see if it gets a lot of traffic. And once we see, oh, we're getting like 10 sales a month, and then decide to actually review the product, do a video, put in our own original photographies, and like actually even without changing the copy too much. Obviously, we learned some stuff about the product which we could fit in there, but just having the pictures there, having the YouTube video there, we could see conversions almost going 3x usually, because people have just so much more trust in what
Yeah,
we are writing
exactly.
about there if we have our photos. I guess it's somewhat
That's
similar
what I
to
was
like
gonna
having
say.
better copy.
It's not even just, but yeah, you're right. It's the trust factor. People trust you more if you're just putting up like generic AI content, people aren't going to trust you because you have this kind of dissonance, right, between You're claiming to be a very big brand. You're claiming to be a real human being. You're claiming to have really in-depth knowledge of this topic and wanting to help people. And then you're just putting up, one-click ChatGPT garbage, and there's a disconnect, right? It's not good branding. I mean, it's not bad because it can still rank and you can still make money from it, so it's not a bad thing. I understand the economics behind it. I've been in SEO for a long time. I get it. But it's not going to be very trustworthy. And I think that was a big part of the increase in clicks with a recent client's website was that, supposed to be an expert in the industry. The company's been around for more than a decade, so they're supposed to be like a really well-established company, and the content was not very high quality. But if you sound human, if you have more details, if you talk about the testing that you've done, like, hey, during our testing, we noticed this, and this is probably the reason why, well, then that creates a lot more trust and somebody's a lot more likely to buy a product from you. And it's especially important with more expensive products because some of the trackers that they're selling are $279, $329. Some of them require buying the product and a subscription fee, which is another $100 more a year. So, people really need to trust you before they make a purchase like that. So just having content that sounds a lot more human, especially in the intro and especially in the first few sections where people are actually reading, because a lot of people don't even get down to the bottom of the article. That's really important.
Really cool. So how about we just get a bit more technical, like how to actually pretty much get to like human sounding AI content. My first question here would be pretty much which tool to choose, because obviously like a few years ago there was probably just ChatGPT pretty much in the market, but now we've got Claude, we've got Perplexity, we've got ChatGPT obviously, and various other services or even tools which are built on top of these. So I would be very curious to hear from you, like what's your current tool set looking like? What are you using mostly?
I only use ChatGPT and my own custom GPT. That's it. The reason for that is I do think those other AI tools like I Surfer and Pop and Auto Blogging and ZimWriter, I think they're good for the right purpose. I think they're very good for SEO. They're good to get up articles quickly and get topical authority, keep costs down, publish a few articles, maybe get 20, 30 articles up and see what ranks, and then you can go in from there and edit. I do think those tools are good. However, the reason I like ChatGPT is because it gives me the highest amount of control. And I have my custom GPT that I've trained on my own voice, and hey, I don't like when you do this instead. Don't say things like this, do this instead. I have a lot of different rules that I've programmed into it. And so it already writes mostly in a tone of voice that I can at least build on. It gives me a good solid foundation to build on. So I'm only using ChatGPT at this point. And I think Claude is fine. I think it's fine. I don't understand all the hype behind it. People keep saying it's amazing, it writes human-like content and all this stuff, and then when I read it, it just sounds like AI to me. I don't see a big difference. I really don't. And I don't really like the interface. I don't know, maybe I'm just used to ChatGPT at this point.
Yeah, actually in preparation for this call, I also tried out Claude yesterday for like some random project, and it felt like the content, like the pretty much the one-click variation of the content, just being like, hey, write an article about that, I think might be slightly better than ChatGPT. But the interface was, I think, a bit worse. Like it would ask me many times to confirm how it should progress further with the task. And I'm like, hey, I already told you the task, and it would ask me to reconfirm 3 times. I'm like, hey, what are we doing here? It took much more time for me to create content.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't like the interface. I don't like the usability, and I don't know. I don't think it makes a big difference. I really don't. I think AI is just AI, and a big thing with me with AI content is that. All right. Well, actually, let me say something else first. The biggest problem with AI content is not necessarily like the words it uses. 'Cause that is a problem. Like it does overuse a lot of generic words. The problem is that AI content is very surface level and it's lacking any type of substance. That's the biggest problem with AI content. And no amount of, let's say, programming is going to solve that, if that makes sense. So like a big problem with ChatGPT content is like you might ask it something like, what's the best GPS tracker for a car? And it'll say something like, the best GPS tracker for a car is the Kevin Meng GPS tracker because it sports features such as a nice app and an accurate real-time location and geofencing and SOS button. And like that's fine, but it's very generic, it's very surface level. Human content is a lot more detailed. It would be something like, hey, I think the best GPS tracker is the Kevin Meng GPS tracker, and here's why. I took it out on the town, and I hid my van across town, and I drove a mile away, and then I opened my app, and I looked on the app, and it was accurate within 200 meters, and then I went here, and I did this. Like, it's much more detailed, and there's much more variation. That's how a human being would write something, and or a human being that's actually used the tool would write that way. So no AI tool, no matter how good it is going to be able to do that without your input. So that's why I just don't see a big difference in using all of the different tools. And yeah, I've already done so much kind of like training with ChatGPT already that it's just easy for me to use. I guess it's just sticky. I don't even know the right term for that. It's software. I'm just used to it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think those other tools are good though. Like if you have a new website and you're trying to get a lot of articles up and you don't have a big budget, then of course, like why wouldn't you want to use something like Surfer or Pop or ZimWriter? And those things also help you with the SEO. They give you the subheadings and the keywords. They're super valuable. But if we're talking about writing like real high quality stuff for like an authority website with a big brand, I think it's better to do it with ChatGPT. That way you have more control, because like you don't have much control over the final output with something like with any of those tools.
Yeah, that's like the most annoying part. Also for our content production, I don't think we are using any of the tools anymore. We used to like try them out, but yeah, like exactly what you're saying there, like you just missed the control. Like for example, for me, the intros are a big part. I want the intros to be like short, concise, actually hook the people. And like all of the tools, they're just spitting out garbage, to be frankly, which with
Yeah.
super long intros, not catching the reader at all. And I mean,
Yeah.
then if I need to do another step of like rewriting the intros as well, and like maybe some other parts are also not according to my standards, it's so much more easy just to set up your own custom GPT, or like we do. We have like quite an elaborate series of prompts using the API of ChatGPT to then
Okay.
get content which is more according to our standards or our format.
Yeah, it's much better, I think, if you're trying to get like really high quality stuff, then I think that's the best way to go. If you're just trying to get SEO articles, trying to get the ball rolling and trying to get topical authority quickly, well then yeah, sure, use the one-click generators. If not, build your own processes, like make a custom GPT, get the documentation in there, make sure you use good outlines, make sure you understand like good high quality content. You can also prompt things like that into ChatGPT. For example, you can say like, in this section, cover this idea and then cover this idea, and then add in a personal experience of you really using this tool. And then at the end, add a tip for using this tool. And then that will actually make your content sound a lot more human because it'll have more variation, it'll have more details. And once you get ChatGPT to stop making some of like the stupid mistakes it makes, you'd be surprised at how human it sounds.
Interesting. Yeah, like one anecdote, maybe probably we shared both actually. I'm not sure if you remember, but at the last Chiang Mai SEO conference in 2023, there was a talk by one of the casino companies. I think they operate a bunch of casinos, and pretty much it was just like a walk down of like all the like different black hat methods they use to get ahead. But then like when
Yeah.
it comes to the AI content, they're just like, no, straight up, we don't use it. Like kind of like their pages are like too high value to just put like some generic content up there, while they were like clearly illegal. They were just listing illegal practices
Yeah.
they did before.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like AI content, they're like, nah, it's just not
It's too
economical for
risky.
us. It
Yeah,
was
it's
really
too
funny.
risky. I do think that's a good point, though, is that I think so many companies, not just SEO sites, but like real legit brands, are losing so much money by just posting. They think they're saving money because they're posting an AI article that ranks, because they have the authority, they have the trust in Google. So they post an AI article that's, maybe a 3.5 or 4 out of 10 just to fulfill the keyword requirements, and it ranks, and they think they're doing really well. But they're giving away a lot of money, I think, by not putting more effort into optimizing those pages for conversions, for sure.
Yeah, like especially when like there's like a lot of traffic on the site or lots of conversions running
Yeah.
through. I think it's maybe similar to my example with like us just presenting a product or actually reviewing a product. It can be a huge difference, and it's actually often
Yeah.
economically the right call to just like invest our money into a high quality content piece there.
Yeah.
I think
You
you already briefly mentioned like some additions you can make to your prompts. Um,
mhm.
I think it's really important for or really interesting for people to have like some form of like quick hacks how they can improve their AI content quality. Can
Yeah.
you share like any other like prompt sequences you would run or like anything people should focus on or like include in their prompts when using ChatGPT or the other platforms?
I think that people need to stop. Um, they need to change their mindset about using AI and stop thinking so much about prompts and thinking more about initial training of ChatGPT or other AI tools to sound more human. Because people think that there's like, oh, I'm going to put a prompt in, and this prompt is going to result in good content. That's not how it works. What works is training the AI to sound more human and produce better content. That's what's going to actually result in better human sounding content, and also outlining your articles in more detail. So if you have a custom GPT that's trained in your brand voice, that writes content without fluff, content without stupid words like delve or crucial or embark or all that stuff, that writes an active voice, that adds in its own pro tips and maybe thoughts and brackets and just stuff that makes the content look and sound more human. And then you outline your articles better by saying like, okay, in this section we're going to cover this, and then we're going to cover this, and then we're going to cover that. Here's an example. Then I want you to say this type of thing. Do not say it this way, say it this way. And you just get into that habit of outlining in more detail, you're going to get a much better output. It's not so much about the prompt itself. It's about the training of the GPT and the outline, the instructions that you're giving it. So my prompts are, they're just literally direct instructions. That's how I prompt it. Like, this section we're going to talk about GPS trackers for cars. I want you to start off by saying this, then we're going to move on to the benefits, then you're going to move on to our top 5 products and bullet points, then you're going to give a recommendation using the in a personable voice using I and you. So it'll come out something like, in the end, I recommend this product. I think it's the best for you because of this reason, and I think you're going to get content that sounds much better. So that's like my main takeaway, I think, from this. Um, Another thing, like quick hacks, yeah, add more things like more details, more pro tips, like instruct AI to add in things like pro tips, add in examples. I would ask it to elaborate more on certain things because, like I said, that generic surface level stuff, like this is a great tracker because you can track the location of any car right from an app. Well, every tracker does that. Like every single tracker does that, and everybody knows every tracker does that. There's no added value there. So the added value will come in the elaboration. So you could actually literally ask it, hey, elaborate on this with the unique benefit of this product. And it will say, okay, this, what makes this product different is that it's the most accurate product on the market. Everything else is accurate only to within 250 feet. This one is accurate to within 10 feet. That means you're going to know exactly where your kid or your car or whatever is at all times, as precisely as possible. And that's something that's a lot better. So yeah, ask it to elaborate on benefits. Ask it to add pro tips. Ask it to add examples. Make your outlines more detailed. Train your GPT. What else? Use it for research too. I think using it for research is a very good way to, because it saves you from having to use your brain. So if there's like a feature, if you have a product and it talks about a feature like this hiking boot has moisture wicking fabrics that are going to help your feet when you're hiking, you can literally say, hey, ChatGPT, why is this beneficial for a customer? Why is this beneficial for somebody who's searching for a hiking boot? And it'll give you a list of reasons why. And then you can say, okay, great. Here, work that back into the content now. So explain to me in detail using this information you've just told me why this is beneficial for the person. And it'll add it to the content, and it'll make it, much more beneficial for the reader. So use it for research. I think that would be good. And stop giving ChatGPT these kind of ambiguous thought prompts. Stop saying things like, make me an engaging article where you pretend to be a meteorologist with 2 decades of experience. So write a benefits-driven sales page for, I don't even know what meteorologists sell. I don't even know. Let's say, okay, pretend you're a hiking expert with 10 years of experience in the Appalachian Mountains. Write me an amazing sales page for this hiking boot. That stuff is just total bullshit. Like, it does not work. You just get the same generic crap. I've made videos about it that are on my Instagram and stuff. Where I literally just compare side by side the generic output without those instructions to the output with those instructions. There's almost no difference. It's literally the same. ChatGPT cannot think. It's just a text generator. So
Yeah, I think that was really interesting how people use it like in the beginning. Like when we use ChatGPT, it's very rare that our prompts have like less than 1,000 words, because just like cramping on all the information it should include there. Like I don't think there's like a way to just have like a 2-sentence kind of like prompt being like, write an authentic review about this product, and suddenly there will be like magically some good article there. That's probably not possible now, not possible in the future, especially in the future. Maybe there might be like lots of like AI content used to train the next AI version. So it's not even, it can't even be perfect or even human-like.
No. One more example that I think is important is that like people, like when you see something about AI, because I even see people from big AI companies recommending these total bullshit prompts. The reason they recommend this stuff to you is because they want you to buy something from them. They want you to think that these tools are capable of doing things that they are not capable of doing. And I'm not saying they're trying to scam people. I don't think most of them are. I think most of them are actually, they're just normal people. So I don't think that, they're bad or anything like that. It's just that, it's hard, it's a lot harder to do things than people think. Like, for example, like in the fitness industry, everybody's always trying to tell you, here's the secret to getting in shape, Well, it's like the secret is eating right and going to the gym, right? Like, and it takes a lot of time. It's the same thing like with AI. It's like, here's the secret to amazing articles with AI. It's like, no, the secret is training your AI to sound good and actually putting in the effort to generate the articles with a good outline and instructions, So it's like, be very careful of people who say like there's a magic prompt. There are prompts that do help for sure. Like I've seen good videos on people offering good prompts, like, here's a way to edit down things with this prompt. Here's a way to make it sound better with this prompt. Here's a way to fix the tone with this prompt. Those are somewhat helpful, but just be very careful of people who say like, here's my amazing prompt. It's just, maybe it works. I don't know.
I think like especially for like me, like we started pretty early using AI. I think the first version we used was like the GPT-2 version, which was still in the playground. And like back then you need to be like very precise, and the only way to get a decent result was to provide it with lots of examples. Like I think over the years we just went down the number of examples you have to provide until AI kind of gets it. Like in the beginning, for like every single task, we would like, let's say, put the full blog article in there, provide 3 different examples of decent intros, and then ask it to produce another intro for the very whole article we just provided it with, in order to update or make the updating process more easy for our team. Which were quite good in the beginning. Obviously, still not perfect, and it got like easier and easier over the years. Like I think at 3.5, you just needed 1 example, and now people like suddenly you get to ChatGPT 4 and like the newer versions. Suddenly people think you don't need to provide any examples anymore. Or it's magically just perfect. But like let me tell you, like when you did the whole journey, like you really want to make sure to clearly define what's needed here. And I really like it when you provide it with both the information as well as the style required, because then usually the example is, or the output is quite good. But if you just assume it will somehow get everything right, that's a pretty wild guess, to be honest.
Yeah, it's too much. It's expecting too much out of ChatGPT, I think, to just say like, hey, write this amazing article that's engaging and informative and balanced and covers in depth these topics. Like, there was one guy on YouTube who, again, I don't think he was like trying to scam anyone. I think he legit thought this prompt worked. But I have it in a video I've made where it's like, you are an expert in AI and you are going to cover the following topic in depth, and you're going to weigh the pros and cons of this. Then you're going to go into depth on understanding the key challenges of implementing AI into your business, and I want you to provide rich examples, and I want you to do this and that. And it's just, that does not work. Like, you're just going to get the same generic output of all time. Not of all time, same generic output as you always get.
Yeah.
What does work is that you actually put in the effort to outline and say, in this section, we are going to cover the key challenges, which are this, this, and this. I want you to mention this. I want you to mention that, then mention this, then mention that. You have to do all the thinking, and then ChatGPT will fill in the words for you. It does like the manual work of adding the word, like, so you don't have to sit there typing all the words out. But you're the one who should be doing like the thinking and the strategy behind the article, not just saying, hey, we're writing a conversion focused blog on this. Like, it doesn't work that way, because it's too complicated. Like, what does conversion even mean? Conversion comes down to tone of voice, trust factors, benefits, positioning, details, all of these different things, visualization, future pacing. ChatGPT doesn't understand all of that stuff and where to put it and how to do it. It's just, it's AI,
I think those are some really good points. Like, I mean, to be fair, like to try to include everyone here in this kind of like interview. Like, I can see people come from like different perspectives. Like, either they come from like purely spam, or they come from like somewhat decent websites, or like actually huge websites, or they run an e-commerce shop or something. Obviously, everyone has like a bit of like a different use case for AI. Like, some people, they just like don't aim for like the super high quality content, which is fine as well. Like, that's a business decision. But like, you need to make sure that probably you cannot score on the 10 out of 10 bracket, or even in the 8 out of 10 bracket, if you don't put in the effort, kind of. That's also what we found out. Like, there's places for pure AI content, but they are limited. It's not for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get it. Everyone has a different use case, and they have a different budget, different time constraints or whatever. And AI it can be totally fine, and it doesn't have to be amazing stuff. Like, you don't have to write the greatest article of all time every single time you write an article. It just doesn't. It's not possible, and it's also sometimes it's not economically viable. I totally get that for sure, especially in SEO where so much matters, like so many things matter, like not just your content, but like how many articles do you have, how old is your site, how is your on-page SEO, how are your links, all these different things matter so much that maybe you don't have the resources to invest in a big writing team and experts and stuff. I get it, every site is different, so totally fine by me.
Okay, all right. I think like last question pretty much. I would be happy to shout you out. Like, where can people find you? What do you offer right now? What can people do if they want to get in touch with you after this interview?
Yeah, the best thing to do would be to just find me on Facebook. I'm Kevin Meng, MENG is my last name. And that's the best way to find me, or you can find me at kevin-meng.com. So yeah, dash in the middle. I've released a course on creating really high quality content with ChatGPT. It's called Next Level AI Content. So that's out right now. The page is not live. I'm still working on the sales page, but the course is live. You can DM me for it, or hopefully by the time you see this video, that the page will be live. I really hope so. I just got a lot of things to do. Other than that, yeah,
Work on the copy, I guess.
I know. I should really take my own advice and actually do these things. Just have so much to do right now. Yeah, I basically provide any type of content service that people need. Like I'm writing stuff just still by myself for SaaS and online marketing companies. I also do AI content for people who need it, and it's kind of like a sliding scale. Do you need good content? Well, then it's going to be more money, and I'll put more time into it. Do you just need like average AI content? Well, I can do that relatively quickly for relatively cheap. I do a lot of consulting, so helping people build out their content departments, guidelines, SOPs, training your VAs or your writers to use ChatGPT, that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's it. Sales pages, emails, whatever needs to be done. But my main thing right now is the course and focusing on people helping build content departments with ChatGPT. I don't want to say the right way, that's a little bit cheeky, but let's say the highest quality way. So that would be something like, we're going to nail down your guidelines, get your tone of voice and your branding on point, and then your VA or your writer or whoever is going to learn how to use ChatGPT the right way. I'll create some example articles and some videos to train them on how to use it for writing and research and editing, and then you can just map out all of your articles, and your writers know how to use ChatGPT now to write AI assisted content, because that's the future of things, right? AI assisted content for brands, right? Having that brand is so important now with Google, and it's going to get better at detecting pure AI. People are going to get turned off to pure AI. They're going to want more human connection. So it's going to be more about using AI to write human sounding content.
Awesome. Yeah, and then thank you so much for doing this interview. I hope you could help a lot of people improve their content quality, even when
Thank
using
you.
AI content. And yeah, have a great day, man.
Sweet. Thanks, Matt. Cheers.